So Makandiwa responded to the BBC documentary. I have to share this because he was very tactical in his approach by appealing to logic. As a matter of fact, from every other minister that has responded to this happens to be one of the most intelligent response which I have seen by far. From the look of all things, I would want to infer he was very tactical in his subliminal defense for the person of TB Joshua. Now, I want to share a bit of what he said, all right?
Prayer mountain. He's not a little boy, he's a mature man. He's probably a father of I don't know how many children, and he's one of your workers, and he's your intercessor, and he stays in the prayer mountain. And he's there for 16 years. And in that place, you've got pictures of men of God that are being prayed against, whether there is blood being spilled on the pictures, whether they are using swords. And at some point he said, he comes to the prayer mountain and there is a fish pond over there, and then he removes his hair and his puberty hair, and we took one of the fish and he puts it in the mouth of the fish and allows the fish to go, and then the fish started multiplying and all sorts of things. And you look at that, what is it that you would have done if you were TB Joshua? Having a worker who's taking care of your place, probably is your intercessor, and you are not of God, and you want him to believe that you are of God. Would you do this in his presence? What stops you from shaving your hair and you carry it to the place and you dismiss everyone and you conduct your ceremonies? This man is saying, I saw him, he took off his hair and he went under, and again he took off his hair, placed it in the mouth of a fish in your presence, still wanting you to believe that he is of God. And after that, you seem not to be sure. It's either he is of God. You hear him saying it's either he is of God or he is of the devil. You can be close to a man for 16 years and still you are not sure whether he is of God or he is of the devil. You must have verified that before granting people an opportunity to record you. We need people who are sure of what they are saying. Am I saying there are no pastors who are doing rituals? What I'm saying is, you can't put these arguments in the same statement. Once a man is into doing rituals and is shedding blood, you must identify the reason, things that then he goes on to do by reason of the rituals that he has done. If he is into shedding blood, if he has slaughtered, if he has killed people, buried them somewhere, it must be for what reason? The reason must be probably power to do the miracles, an ability to prophesy. The ritual must then give the man the ability to prophesy and then not make use of his disciples to to then collect information from people. Why would you kill a chicken? Why would you kill people? Why would you drink their blood to then physically send people to collect information from visitors, and they physically bring it to you so that you give it out as prophecy? Does that require human blood? Am I saying he never conducted any ritual? I'm saying find one thing that you can accept. You cannot say all of the miracles were fake. All of the miracles were doctored. All the prophecies were physically and manually given to him by his disciples. And at the same time, he goes on to conduct some rituals. For what power? For what?
Now, before we continue, just to give an answer to his question, if you are from the western part of Nigeria, you understand that even some acclaimed white garment church people, that they believe they are of God, they still perform some kinds of ritual. And their member fully believed that their prophet is actually from God, and they still get them to do some sacrifices by the river. So for the man to have come up to say he's not very sure if he's from God or if he's from Satan because of the rituals, that might be because of his background. I mean, if you agree with me, from the western part, there is this white garment church people that they still need to perform some sacrifices, like bathing by the riverside, using some certain soap to bathe and dropping some things in the river. And this set of people today still believe that those practices are of God. So for Mr. Akiwi not being able to determine at that instance because of the sacrifices that were being offered, is very possible based on his background, based on the kind of things he's exposed to. Some of these guys don't know the truth. Some of these guys, when they get to see power, they don't actually know that Christ has been given up unto us as a sacrifice, and therefore no more sacrifices by the river, killing of chicken, and all of those things that are still necessary. If you go down to the western part of Nigeria and some other part in Nigeria, you will agree with me, a lot of people that still go to church, they still perform some certain sacrifices. So let's continue.
Then, all I'm saying, next time you think of destroying a man, find one side that you accept. Don't try to destroy all of him. Sacrifice one side. Let go of one side. So if you're not listening to me carefully, you would think I'm saying he never did that. He never shed blood. I'm simply saying, if you're saying he did, it was for what reason? Then you realize that you have to let go of one area. You have to admit the power was there. The prophetic was there. And you then say it was as a result of the rituals that he was doing. Not to say there is a ritual and the man cannot prophesy. He's doing rituals and the man has no power to do the miracles. The rituals were for what? Maybe they were not for power. Maybe the rituals were not for the prophecies. Maybe the rituals were for a bigger church. Is his church the biggest in Nigeria? It's not. In terms of membership, he has few members as compared to other churches whose pastors are not being accused of conducting any ritual. Was it for, of course, many people would, those are not members, those were visitors. They would come from their churches, visit him, because they had problems. Those are not members. So the ritual was for what? Maybe the ritual was for long life. If he was drinking people's blood so that he would live long, then you must then come out and let us know that probably he never died, he's still alive. Just so that you defend, you justify the reason for the ritual. He did a ritual for what reason? Give us a reason that you say in this area it was real, the power was real, the prophetic was real. You'd rather say he's not into rituals. Then you say, that's why I would give him information from the people that we get from the people. That's how you deal with a so-called prophet who has no access to a charm. If a charm is giving him information, why would you need a list of disciples eating your food, staying in the campus to collect information from the people, yet you have a charm that can give you information about the people? The two cannot go together. Sacrifice one. I'm teaching you next time you seek to destroy, you seek to attack. Try to appeal to logic. Make sense in what you're saying. I don't want to have a man who has stayed with a man for 16 years to come out and say, it's either he's Satan or he's, what were you doing in 16 years? You never had your phone on you in 16 years. You never spoke to your family from the prayer mountain. You never took a picture of what was happening. Am I saying he never did that? I'm just saying you are not smart enough. You are not the one to be used either by God or by the devil to bring down a man. We need people that are smart. Try to do a better job next time. Most people that I know that consider themselves to be prophets, they use physical means to get information about people from physical, natural sources. Yes, sending people to collect information. People come for counseling. You sit with a local pastor, a zonal pastor, a cell group pastor. And when they are coming for a quarterly conference where those pastors, they bring information to their senior, and he knows how many members are coming from that cell. And they prophesy using information that they got from people. And such a man of God doesn't require any ritual. You don't need to kill children. So, this is what most people are doing. You don't need to cut the head of a man and you take out his heart and you eat it raw so that you can get information from Facebook about a person. The two doesn't go together. I'm educating you, I'm teaching you, in case next time you want to attack a man. Make sure that you are reasonable in your attempt. So there are things that you must accept. You cannot say TB Joshua had no power. You can't say there wasn't any power there. That's not true. You make us question then everything else that you're going to say. Do you even know what power is? He had it. as of the source, be sure. You don't expect us to be sure. You were there for years. You have to be sure. So let's keep on looking at what he was doing. Quite a lot. Even Nigeria, even the government can attest to the contributions. He was a religious attraction. He contributed to the economy of his country. The more people you have coming into your country, that's a contribution to your economy. And
listening to his over 2 hours response, one thing I could say actually is that he didn't actually defend the person of TB Joshua. Neither did he speak against TB Joshua. So he kind of asked intelligent questions. The only thing I would want to say, the only thing I could actually say I observed from his comment is that he only faulted the job which BBC did as not being perfect enough to convince people of whether TB Joshua actually committed a crime or not. However, he also left a window to probably suggest that there is every possibility that TB Joshua might have actually committed a crime. However, he did not insinuate anything. Okay, so if you listen to the 2 hours message, I think it was a bit reasonable. Only that there was something he made along his address that was so scary of any man of God to actually say.
Jimmy Swaggart. All they did was to take a picture. He wasn't naked. Deborah Mountfree was known to be a prostitute. And there was a man of God at that time who was also coming up, and he realized that Jimmy Swaggart is the man. He would fill up stadiums. And he knew there was a place that he used to visit. And that man of God hired a private detective to spy on Jimmy Swaggart. And one of the days Jimmy Swaggart went, he said it was because I was too much stressed by ministry. He goes to this woman, a detective is over there, and he calls the man of God to come. And he comes and he says, okay, don't allow that car to leave the place. They puncture the vehicle. And Jimmy Swaggart is still there. And he comes out, he's at the car, they're taking photos. And photos, they came out. These photos were not naked. It's not proof, it's not evidence that you see now current men of God denying. Photos, they were standing, clothed, just standing next to this woman. It was enough even for Jim Swaggart to come out in the public and cry and confess and say, I've sinned. You see him weeping in front of his church. Lord, forgive me. A black man never does that. Nor eat before you sleep with him. A black man ran away. It's better off. In terms of spirituality, we can talk about this and that in America, but I know the whites. I've listened to a lot of white preachers admitting to certain errors that they have committed. Not a black man. Not a black man. That was not enough. That cannot be used in now. A picture of me standing with a woman. And then I go on to confess. Then the Deborah Mumfree woman came out to give a narration. And she said, the reason why I'm telling you it is because he made his own confession. I wouldn't have said this to anyone. She's not saying I was raped. She's not saying I'm trying to expose. She's just giving her side of the story after the man of God had actually come out. Rarely do you find such a man of God. In this generation, whatever you think is evidence, forget it. They lie more than members. We are not afraid of anything. Fear us, stay away. Be wise. Be smart. I've watched videos of great men, that's what I do, so that I avoid falling. Tiger Woods stood over there and he made a confession in the presence of parents, the family, apologizing to each and every individual. What I did was wrong. We're expecting less from him, yet you see much in terms of transparency. It's not a man of God. It affected his entire world. Yet he came out to confess. Of course, maybe he's black. It's the only black man, maybe. But there's better professionalism out there than in church. There's a lot of abuse that happens in the church that is not accounted for. You need to use your mind. If I tell you that if you leave my ministry, you are not going to make it in life, that's abuse and that's false. If I keep you in church every single day there is a church service, that's abuse. When are you going to spend time with your family? I've watched it even on television the last Christmas. I was at home with my family. But I saw on YouTube live service. There were live services on Christmas. The man of God had members from the beginning of the year. The only time that you have with your family, he still wants to preach. When are you going to exercise? When are you going to practice what he's teaching? Attending church service every single day, it's a sign that you are not smart. Get a job. Get some money. Look after your family. Know how to escape abuse. There are many signs. There are many signs. People must be allowed to live when they want to live. Don't lie to people that when they leave you, they won't make it in life. Some will even become better. I'm saying this to educate you. I'm saying this to give you knowledge. President Clinton had an affair with a woman, Lewinsky, Monica. And he came out at some point to deny it. 1998. In January, 26th January, he came out in public and he said, I have never had any connection, any affair, any relationship with Monica. And he lied under an oath. And a day came, he came back to the same people and he admitted And he apologized to the people and apologized to his family. And he was almost impeached for having lied under oath. This is not a pastor. This is not even a prophet. I'm telling you, you would have every other man telling you the truth except a man of God. You parents, keep your daughters away. Keep your children away. I'm not saying I don't have women also serving in our ministry, but there's a big distance there. If you were to ask me, I've said this before, I would not allow any of my daughters to work with any prophet or the prophets that I know, or the bishops that I know. I will not allow any of my daughter. Allow yours. If they are to go and work there, I will sit down with them. I would want them to explain to me the environment. I will guide them so that before a man of God can make an attempt, I know how it starts. Man of God is not bringing out a gun and sleeping with all these women. It's a build-up. You know where it is going. You know where the thing is going. I want you to come, please clean my office, and the next time come again, and every time he wants to see you. Where is it going? Before it happens, you would have known the man loves me, the man wants to sleep with me. You would have known. Don't come out and lie that he raped me, he forced me. You were interested. That was your desire. Now protect yourself. My question is, how can we have a golf player coming out to confess? You have a president and they are saying you face a jail term because you've lied, not just impeachment.
Now, I'm going to leave a link to the full video, right? He made a lot of comments, very scary comments that actually gave an exposition why you get to see men of God that always go scot-free with a lot of abuses. Now, I'm going to be looking into some of the things he said in a subsequent video, okay? Because we're going to be using it a whole lot to see if we can get people to begin to understand the kind of things we do here, while we are always bent on making them to understand that your man of God is not the ultimate. The scripture should always remain the ultimate. Yes, we have pastors and ministers that God has given to us to learn from them, but then your scripture should be the ultimate. And that is why everyone must of a necessity strive towards ensuring that you are able to establish a perfect relationship with Jesus. That is just the only way out. So this is If I with the Potter's Make sure to leave your comment in the comment section. Until next time on our video, I'll say bye-bye.